5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending Friday, November 6, 2020. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, Election Day was Tuesday, and for many Troy University students, it was their first chance to vote in a presidential election. Historically, the ability to cast a vote was not always easy for all Americans. One major part of campus is named for a man who helped make change in America. Michaela Smith talked to students about the importance of voting and its connection to John Lewis.
On August 26, 2020, the Troy University Board of Trustees voted to rename Biff Graves Hall to John Robert Lewis Hall. Lewis was a civil rights activist and served in the fight to grant the right to vote for African Americans.
John Lewis influenced a lot of African Americans to be able to vote in today's time. He led one of the marches on Washington alongside of Martin Luther King. He was also one of the speakers alongside Martin Luther King. He also gave a famous speech at the March on Washington. So John Lewis played a very pivotal part in my life when it comes to voting.
Lewis was notorious for his efforts during Bloody Sunday to help people of color gain the right to vote. But on November 3rd, it may be the first time some students hit the polls. So we took to campus to see how they were feeling.
I think I'm kind of scared, but I know what our state is going to choose, but it's still cool to have an input in the numbers.
A lot of times before people weren't allowed to vote, certain people of color or women even. I think every time you vote, you're using your right that we all have, and it's just very important to make your voice heard. Even if you may think that your vote might not count, it's still important to vote because we all have that right.
I'm super excited. I actually went out to vote yesterday and I was super happy and I was super excited because if the person that I voted for actually wins, I'm going to be happy because I was a part of a change that's going to happen in this country.
Soon after Lewis's passing, the Voting Rights Advancement Act was renamed to the John Lewis Voting Rights Act of 2020. Michaela Smith, Troy, TrojanVision News.
As Americans hit the polls Tuesday, there were some Troy students who went to great lengths to cast their vote in the presidential election. Brady Talbert traveled with a group of Troy students who made the trip back to their hometown to cast a ballot.
What looks like a weekend road trip is actually a Tuesday journey to cast ballots. While some students chose to register to vote in Pike County, others are making the commute home to vote in the presidential election. Tuesday morning, we rode alongside a group of Troy students driving 2 hours to vote in Alabaster, Alabama. Chrislyn Walker is a nursing major who said she couldn't miss this opportunity.
I have a test in the morning, so I'm taking this time with our 2-hour car ride to study so I can feel best prepared for my test tomorrow. I think it goes to show with taking this time to study in the car, going to the polls, just how important this election is to voice your opinion.
Now, some say the commute to vote was actually worth it so they didn't have to vote absentee out of fear that their ballot would be lost in the mail.
Senior Jake Simonetti says despite COVID-19, voting at his precinct just felt right.
I decided that it'd be in my best interest to actually go in person and actually get my vote securely viewed by somebody instead of it just getting mailed in and possibly sent back by mailing it in the wrong way.
Polls in Alabama close at 7 o'clock. In Alabaster, Alabama, Brady Talbert, Troy, TrojanVision News.
While Saturday was Halloween, it also marked the end of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And in one last push to raise money and awareness, Troy students put on their walking shoes. Ava Jackson shows us why.
As Breast Cancer Awareness Month came to a close last Saturday, Troy University held their 4th annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk around campus.
We're doing the 4th annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk. They're going to do a 2-mile walk around campus.
Participants were able to pay $10 to enter, along with receiving free water, pizza, and even raffle prizes, all to raise money for breast cancer.
We're raising money for breast cancer awareness, and all the money is going to go towards American Cancer Society.
The 2-mile walk started at John Lewis Quad and circled around Troy's campus. Participants were able to walk along survivors and meet new faces.
This cause is very important to me. My mother, in fact, was a breast cancer survivor, so it hits like close to my heart. This is an organization we're grouped together to help spread breast cancer awareness, as well as just get exercise for some of our students.
Even with the spread of COVID-19, participants were still very excited to get outside and walk for a cause.
I'm very excited, especially to see all these beautiful faces out with COVID going on. It's good to have a good group of ladies and gentlemen.
I am so excited. This is my last breast cancer awareness walk, so it's a little bittersweet.
Ava Jackson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll see how a pair of student groups shared some Halloween fun with some local children. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Due to COVID-19, many families decided not to trick or treat for Halloween this year. However, thanks to Freshman Forum and the Black Student Union, local children were able to participate in a safe and socially distanced trunk or treat. Claudia Peppenhorst shows us how.
Trick or treat, or should I say trunk or treat. Freshman Forum and the Black Student Union hosted a trunk or treat event Thursday night on campus for some fun pre-Halloween festivities. Different organizations were encouraged to have a trunk decorated and give some candy out, all the while getting to see some pretty spooky costumes.
We got different organizations out here. We're having a costume contest. We're having a best trunk contest as well. And it's really just a big have fun, feel good Thursday before Halloween. We wanted to post it because, you know, in light of things, kids might not get to go trick-or-treating this year. So we wanted to give them a chance to wear their costumes, get out and be seen and trick-or-treat.
In light of COVID-19, Freshman Forum and the Black Student Union decided to host their first ever trunk or treat event as a way to give the community an opportunity to participate in some safe and socially distanced trick-or-treating.
So we decided that since it was never done like this before, we just wanted to try to get all the organizations in the same place so everybody can see what's going on, and then we can also be involved with the community. And it hasn't been done, so I feel like that's the reason why we decided to try something new, because it's been kind of a hard year, so we just wanted to try to open the university up to new things.
Some organizations chose a theme for their trunk, and others even had celebrity appearances from BB-8 and Baby Yoda, overall giving a great start to Halloween.
And no matter what you dress up as, whether it be a witch, a princess, or perhaps a pumpkin, everyone had a fun-filled night with all treats and no tricks. Claudia Peppenhorst, Troy, TrojanVision News.
In a time when so many activities have been cut back due to the coronavirus, student organizations are still doing what they can to maintain some normalcy, including trying to help others in need. Claudia Peppenhorst shows us how one group is doing just that.
As the semester is winding down, Greek Life on campus is still attempting to raise enough money for their chosen philanthropies. This week, Alpha Gamma Delta is hosting their Philanthropy Week to raise funds for Meals on Wheels and Fighting Hunger.
So our philanthropy for Alpha Gam is Fighting Hunger, and we do this by raising a ton of money to donate to bigger organizations like Meals on Wheels and international organizations with our sorority, but we also donate money locally here to fight food insecurity in Pike County.
Amidst COVID-19, Greek life on campus struggled to find alternate events to raise the desired money for their philanthropies. But Alpha Gam decided to host several spirit nights along with a raffle where students have the opportunity to win a basket full of goodies.
Our goals for the semester are to raise a lot of money, but obviously it's harder because of COVID. We still had 2 spirit nights this week at different restaurants to try and raise money, but there's just a hold on a lot of things that we can do because of COVID.
And while supporting this cause affects those in need, it also impacts the chapter of Alpha Gamma Delta.
I think this affects the sisters in our chapter as well because it kind of reminds us that food insecurity is not something that's just in another country, but it's right here in Pike County and surrounding us right here where we are.
They will host another TC table Friday from 10 to 2 to continue selling raffle tickets. Claudia Peppenhorst, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University's broadcasting students have the opportunity to get plenty of hands-on experience working here at TrojanVision, but they also have the chance to learn from an instructor that brings 2 decades of professional on-air experience to the classroom. Kenrietta Stinson has her story.
Being in front of a camera might make some feel uneasy, but not for former anchor and reporter Stephanie East. The former anchor for Alabama News Network and WTVY is now a lecturer at Troy University, teaching others about the world of journalism.
After spending 20 years in the news business, I was so excited to be able to come back to Troy and to teach our next generation of journalists. Troy is what gave me my start in journalism. It is definitely what led me to become a reporter and a news anchor. And so I credit Troy and TrojanVision for my time as an on-air news anchor, and to be able to come back and teach the next generation of journalists and reporters and news anchors is just so exciting to me, and I'm so proud of all of my students and the bright futures that are ahead of them.
Behind me is the Communication and Journalism Building for Students, which is also where Stephanie East got her start. She encourages students to make connections and not be afraid to ask questions, because you never know where opportunities could lead. Stephanie East has been in the media industry for 20 years, anchoring and reporting, which led to great experiences.
When I was a news anchor, and I got to do so many cool things, like go to Korea and do some stories with Hyundai. I got to interview Katie Couric when she became the anchor of the CBS Evening News. I got to cover Alabama's first national championship game against Clemson. So I've had so many great experiences.
She hopes to positively impact the new generation of journalists and reporters. Kenrietta Stinson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll see how fraternities served up some steaks to help wounded veterans. That's coming up right after this, so stay tuned.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
For over 70 years, Smokey Bear has asked you to use fire responsibly.
Fire is due to an unattended campfire. Go time.
Here's how you can stay on the front lines of preventing wildfires. Always watch your campfire. Before leaving, drown it, stir it, drown it again, and feel that the fire is out cold.
Oh, bullseye!
And you won't need a visit from these guys.
Copy that.
You can be Smokey's wingman when enjoying nature and prevent wildfires. Visit SmokeyBear.com for more fire prevention tips.
Every spring break, brothers from Alpha Tau Omega fraternity walk from Troy to Panama City Beach to raise money to help wounded warriors. However, the fundraising starts well in advance of their spring break trip. Recently, the brothers were serving up steak dinners to help with the cause. Claudia Peppenhorst has the story.
There's nothing like good food, good music, and supporting a better cause. Alpha Tau Omega fraternity hosted their second annual Steaks for Soldiers Thursday night in support of veterans and their well-known Walk Hard event in the spring.
Yeah, so this is our second attempt at Steaks for Soldiers. Last year was our first annual Steaks for Soldiers, so this year we're really excited to try it again after a lot of success from last year. And pretty much what it is we're just having live music, a $10 meal, and a banner competition. We're announcing our chapter Sweetheart, so just a lot of really fun things happening on Sorority Hill.
Everyone on campus is still adjusting to the COVID-19 world we live in, but ATO continued on with their fundraising with using different platforms and making adjustments so their philanthropy week could continue on.
So I think it's definitely pushed us to get creative about how we fundraise. So with Jared Todd, we were using social media, and that was a really fun new thing we got to do. But also too, it's just looked a little bit different with, how are we going to package our meals? How are we going to space everybody out in the realm of our steak dinner?
And while ATO's Philanthropy Week is coming to a close, their journey to Walk Hard in the spring has just begun.
I think Walk Hard really connects us because we're really going through something that's painful, but also we're striving to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves. We're all doing this for a mission, and that mission is to support Jeep and his ministry and what he's trying to do for the veterans.
And I was curious if the walkers were nervous, excited, scared, or all of the above about the 128-mile walk to Panama City Beach.
I'm kind of all of the above. I'm really excited for Walk Hard. I'm really excited for just why we're walking. I'm really excited for being able to walk with the guy next to me and be a part of something that's bigger than myself.
Claudia Peppenhorst, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The Trojan volleyball team took possession of second place in the Sun Belt East Division this past weekend after a 3-1 victory over the Jaguars of South Alabama. Stuart Bradley has the highlights from the final game of the 3-match series in Trojan Arena.
After a dramatic 5-set win on Friday, the Trojan volleyball team looked to treat their fans with a Halloween victory against South Alabama on Saturday. Julia Brooks' 6 first-set kills were the difference maker as Troy took a close set 1, 25-23. Brooks would be one of 4 Trojans with double-digit kills on the match, as she and Caitlin Cooper tied with 13 apiece. Cheyenne Hayes recorded a double-double, and Houston Hillier finished with 11 kills. The Trojans' fierce offensive attack, aided by 50 Amara Anderson assists, would lead to a 3-1 victory, notching a series win for the Trojans.
Our passers did a really nice job of allowing Amara to run the offense, put her hands on the ball, spread it out. Our outside hitters have been working really hard to play in tempo and take good swings and pass first, and it's just a matter of time, and consistency and patience pays off.
I think my hitters are doing a really good job in practice, and we're working really well on connection, and just our connection is just really big for how we can play well as a team. So I just think when we're passing well and hitting well and being consistent, we just play really well together.
While the third set did prove to be a back and forth affair, the Trojans were not daunted and bounced back to clinch the game handily in set 4, giving them sole possession of second place in the Sun Belt East Division. The Trojans have just 2 series left to play, and for them the key to victory is not getting complacent and trusting in each other.
I think we just can't get complacent with our wins today and then be ready to play App State next week and do the same thing, spreading out our offense and serving aggressive.
And we always have to be us. We want to win the serving game, we want to win the passing game, and we want to play balanced offense with tempo. And when we do that, right, that's Troy volleyball. And we can compete with anybody at that point.
The Trojans have one final home series as they battle Appalachian State in a 3-game series, including a Friday doubleheader. Stuart Bradley, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
And as some Trojan sport teams are wrapping up their fall seasons, the Trojan baseball team is getting prepared for their spring season to start. However, they still found a way to play in front of fans on Monday night. And in addition to that, the team's traditional cardinal and white uniforms were nowhere to be found. Jessica Phillips shows us why.
The Trojan baseball team got the chance to be back under the lights with fans in the stands for their annual Halloween costume game with the hitters versus the pitchers on Monday night at Riddle Pace Field. While doing it all for fun times, they also were doing it as a way to help support the Thanksgiving food drive.
The main thing we do it for every year, to come in, you have to bring a canned food good for our Thanksgiving food drive for the Pike County. So Like I said, I'm not sure we'll have a great crowd tonight. I wish it were different.
Due to COVID-19, fans were required to social distance and wear masks while in the stands. The players aren't required to wear a mask while on the field, but they were asked to wear one while in the dugout. And with 3 weeks left in fall practice for the baseball team, head coach Mark Smart just hoped for nobody to get hurt on Monday night.
We've yet to have one day where our whole team has been here, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Some of it's COVID, some of it's class scheduling. It's very difficult when you don't have your whole team there. Usually on the weekends we do, but COVID has prevented that a little bit. But we've accomplished everything that we needed to. I think we've gotten better. The last 3 weeks will be important to try to stay healthy and get to the finish line without any significant issues.
Trojan baseball team has not released a schedule for the 2021 season, but officials say a schedule will be released at a later date. Jessica Phillips, Troy, TrojanVision News.
It's time for our last break. When we return, we'll learn about the ways Troy University has been working to keep the campus safe from the coronavirus this semester. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
I was afraid of that.
Well, guess it's time to get you fixed.
Your pets will start fooling around sooner than you think.
Go on, get out of here!
Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
Troy University has been working all semester to keep the campus as safe as possible from COVID-19. We'll learn more about the university's efforts in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Lance Tatum, Senior Vice Chancellor here at Troy University, here to talk a little bit about COVID on campus and what the university is doing about COVID here. I want to thank you for joining me again to talk on this subject. So,
always a pleasure to be with you, Garen.
And first off, I want to talk a little bit later about where we are as a campus with COVID. But one of the things that the university has been doing and has been doing since we got back was sentinel testing. And it's a random test to kind of get, I guess, explain to us a little bit what it is, because it's random testing of people that aren't sick or are sick or whatever, but it's to get information about COVID, right?
Correct. So the sentinel testing program is part of the GuideSafe overarching program that we've been participating in ever since August. It was 3 parts. It was the return testing, which we participated in. It was the educational piece and the app, the health check app, and then the last part of third part is sentinel testing. So the idea behind sentinel testing is that they're trying to determine if there are individuals on campus who are asymptomatic but who are infected. So this gives us a chance to sample a population on campus and determine if in fact they're walking around infected but not showing the symptoms. This then allows us to pull those individuals out, put them into an isolated setting, and get them out of what in essence is the rest of the community environment.
And of course, I'm sure there's a lot of other information that can be pulled from that as well, just looking at trends and taking a look. I mean, I'm sure a lot of that is pertinent to trying to combat COVID in general, and who, what, when, and where you're seeing this pop up.
Absolutely. So it's not just students who are being tested. We have faculty and staff who are also participating in the test. So it gives us a chance to see who the individuals are, where they're located by building, what associations they have with clubs or with organizations, what dorm they're living in. That then gives us a chance to look at that data and determine if there are any trending patterns occurring. Perhaps we may or may not have a problem in a specific dorm, or there may be an organization on campus that is showing a higher rate of infection than others. It also gives us a good idea of what the status of the campus looks like, whether we have hot spots or whether we're consistently keeping the case count down.
And what kind of numbers are you seeing in the flow there, that getting tested on a daily and weekly basis? Like, about how many people are we seeing go through the program in general?
So the idea is that the testing folks come down here once a week. They come on Thursdays. Prior to them arriving on Thursday, a random sample of between 3 and 5% of the campus community is pulled, and then those individuals receive the invitation. Now, it's not a mandatory type of activity. It's a voluntary activity. One of the things I would love to encourage your viewers is that if you do get selected, go ahead and get tested. It's not a long process. It's not as painful as most people perceive that it is. It's a fairly short process that doesn't create a lot of pain or discomfort, but it does a great deal to help us understand who may be on campus and may be infected and not know that they're infected.
And that's one of the things I know a lot of people worry about, that they've heard the rumors, and I've been tested and had the swab go all the way to the back of the throat and made the eyes water. It was not a comfortable experience, but that is not what this test is about.
No,
right?
this is a different. It's still an antigen test, but it's not as invasive as the nasopharyngeal test. This is something that kind of stays mostly within the nasal cavity. It's not all the way back into the throat, so it's a lot less intrusive.
And a quick process as well.
Right.
You know, you're kind of in and out, so little bit of time on your part if you take part in this.
It'll probably take longer for you to drive over to the Elm Street gym, get out of your car, walk up the steps, and enter the building than it will to actually conduct the test.
And of course, once again, you talk about we're getting this information and seeing trends, but also the university through reporting and the coronavirus website. You know, that's one of the things the university has been fairly open about what's going on campus, and that's obviously got to be a plus for the university and what's going on.
Oh yeah, so you know, we determined very early in this process that it would be a much better position for us to be transparent about what's happening on campus, and so we've put our active case count on our coronavirus webpage every day. Dean Reeves takes care of that for us. We review those numbers weekly to determine if there are any trends that are occurring. You know, we typically have found that we've got more off-campus cases that are reported than there are on-campus cases reported. We haven't seen any real clustering activity that has come our way. We did have early on a couple of fraternities that showed a higher case count, but since that time it's been fairly well distributed, and we feel comfortable that at least we understand what the trends look like and how we can make adjustments if needed to those.
And of course, one of the things is, you know, we're 2.5, 3 months into the semester, and of course we've been going through this all year, and there's a potential for burnout in following all these rules. That I've been wearing this mask, I've been washing my hands, I've been doing this, but the guide here is to stay the course, correct?
That is absolutely correct. We had an opportunity, Dr. Schmidt and I had a chance to talk to the student leaders on campus back in September. We asked them to help us by emphasizing to their peers that the face coverings, the social distancing, and the hand washing were important pieces to help us get to Thanksgiving. And from their perspective, that was really important to them, to keep the semester intact, to be able to continue to participate in on-campus activities, athletic events, you know, all the things that make a college experience what it is. And so you're right, we've been doing this for quite a while now. Everyone kind of begins to develop levels of comfort, and it's easy to lose a little bit of the focus of what we're trying to do. I would definitely reinforce what you said. Continuing to wear your face mask, your face covering, not just in class, but you know, around campus when you're around other people. Make sure you wear it in and out of buildings. Make sure you have it on in class. We're reinforcing with our faculty. Wear the face covering while you're teaching. It's just really important to maintain these really simple but effective techniques to keep the virus down. The trending numbers in Alabama have been going down. We really are in a good position. We think that that's because the state is paying attention to the simple things, the face coverings, the social distancing, and the hand washing. So yeah, I would encourage all of your viewers to continue to stay the course. Our goal is to get to Thanksgiving, right? But then coming back out of Christmas, we foresee a pretty similar environment than what we entered the fall in. We'll still have modified delivery activities within our classes. There will still be this expectation of wearing face coverings, still this expectation of distancing and so forth. I think the rule of thumb has been this: tomorrow may not look like today. So you have to be flexible. You have to have contingency plans built out, and I'm proud to really give a lot of credit to our Corona Task Force, who has worked really hard over the last 5 or 6 months to help us build plans and to build processes that have gotten us to today. That group still meets. In fact, we meet again next week to talk about the spring and the steps that need to be taken to get us ready to enter spring semester.
Well, here's hoping things do stay the course, and anybody needs information about what's going on here, troy.edu/coronavirus. I want to thank you for joining us here today, and good luck making the plan for the future. Thanks, Lance.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's the week that was. To find out what's happening on a daily basis, you can tune into Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday. Until next time, have a good week.